Otherwise, question 32b was a 10-mark question, which the question read, analyse how sports policies and the sports environment can promote safe participation in sport. Key term analyse, we're looking at sports policies and the sports environment to promote safe participation in sport. If we have a look at our syllabus, this is the section here that we're looking at. Sports policy and the sports environment. Rules of sports and activities, modified rules for children, matching of opponents, e.g. growth and development and skill level. We're looking at use of protective equipment, safe grounds, equipment and facilities. The Learn 2 is critically analyse sports policies, rules and equipment to determine the degree to which they promote safe participation in sport, e.g. heat rules, rugby unions can do in this response. If we look at the key terms, analyse is to identify the components and the relationship between them, draw out and relate implications. So it's not just listening, you need to look at the relationship between things and be able to make some judgments about the relationship that exists between these issues. In our response, some of the content we're looking for you to be able to talk about, obviously one from the syllabus, you should include elements that relate to the rules of sports injuries and analyse why those rules may have come into place. You're looking at modified rules for children. You could have looked at it in terms of particular sports and elements and rule sports, but you needed to show an understanding of some of the rules that have been modified. If you didn't do that, then it limited the marks that you get there. Matching of opponents. For this particular analysis, we need to look at why those matching of opponents occurs. You may have spoken about weight divisions. You may have also spoken about divisions based on skill level or ability to align athletes to participants in their sport of similar ability. The next area that you needed to talk about was the use of protective equipment. You could have used examples of a whole host of things there, from padding it to helmets to gloves. You could have spoken about shin pads in soccer. There was a whole host of things that you could have spoken about to create a safe environment for and safe participation for the participants, but you needed to, again, not simply just name them, you needed to show how the use of that piece of equipment was going to create a safe environment. Use of safe grounds, equipment and facilities, again talking about the sports environment and how that sports environment can be made safe for the participants in that particular sport. If we have a look at this response, which I'm not going to show you the whole response, but this response has gone through each of those areas clearly. They've used underlining, they've been able to explain the situation, but most importantly, the difference between good responses here and excellent responses was the ability to choose and demonstrate examples and show the implications of those examples for the sport. If we find this one here with regard to modified rules for children, it promotes safe participation as children aren't put in a risk of injury. They still enjoy the sport. For example, changing the scrum rules for children in rugby union so that injury from pushing is avoided, hence effectively creating a safe sports environment. So they haven't simply said that you use scrum rules, but this person has been able to talk about the result of that example. So because of the change of scrum rules, pushing has been taken out, which as a result of that has meant that the sport is safer. And that's what you need to do consistently through your response to be able to get yourself into that top bracket of a top mark for this particular answer. The problems that boys had was, in some responses, they didn't have an understanding of the area. You didn't need to talk about heat and cold. Some boys went into that. That wasn't required in this answer. But the biggest thing that I noticed that stopped people from pushing into that top bracket was the organisation of the response, but also the implications, or that were drawn from what they'd written in terms of making a statement about an area of safety and then providing examples. You need to show the implications of those examples.